gosh. Hooray. It's up. Ugh. I gotta miss my memory card. Right. Please don't error. I don't want to restart my GameCube. There we go. Alright. You're gonna work, right? I don't have to hold you in the whole time. Let me get our recording started. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. Alright. Start the recording. So I'm going to be submitting this run for Speed Docs. This is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I've been running this and got some pretty good times, but I don't actually usually record my runs, and you need a recording to enter, so I'm going to be doing a recording of my run with commentary, and hopefully this will serve as a proficient run, and I'll try to kind of explain how the run works too to show proficiency. Ideally this just works. Alright, cool. I can start my timer when I do that next time now. Alright, so this is Fire Emblem 9 Path of Radiance, and let's get started on the run, I guess. So it should be just like this. Or no, that didn't start it. Alright, I love my timer. This is my first time using Live Split. 1 second. And let's go. There we go. That's the right button. Alright, so basic stuff first. We're going to turn off animations. Fire Emblem is a strategy-based game, so less animations, faster things go, stuff like that. So basically, like any Fire Emblem game, this is going to be grid-based movement, combat system. You got a certain amount of chapters to complete. You beat those chapters, game's over, and so you just want to get through the game as quickly as possible. The big time loss in this game is going to be the combat animations, as they take forever to complete. And so we're going to be trying to minimizing as many combats as possible. The less combats, less animations you have to watch, the faster you can get to the end of the game, obviously. This is very basic prologue, just going to do what you normally do in the tutorial. We are on fixed growths on New Game Plus, which will come in later. But fixed growths basically mean that all level ups are predetermined. Usually in Fire Emblem, level ups are random, but with here we got predetermined level ups, so very nice. Going to be useful. And the New Game Plus is going to give us bracelets a little later on. Oh my gosh, go back. So this is going to be a basic chapter 1. We're going to 2-turn. You're going to see me unequipping a bunch of units. And this is simply because counterattacking is an extra animation. And by unequipping, that's one less animation we have to watch, especially in early game, where our units don't really have to worry about counterattacking or taking hits. We can just unequip them and save those extra animation frames. We're going to send Oscar over here to get the Seraph Robe for a little bit later on in the game. And then we're just going to send Titania up, who's completely overleveled at this point. She's going to go ahead and kill the boss. And then Ike's going to simply capture and clear the map. And that's chapter 1 done. Alright, chapter 2. This is a route map, so it's going to unfortunately take a little bit longer. But we have to clear all the enemies in this map to clear this. And we don't start off with Titania right away, so we're going to have to use Ike and the Scrub Squad a little bit before going in. But Ike's in an interesting place where he starts out bad. He'll become a little bit more useful in the mid-game, but he really doesn't start shining until the end game when we use him to clear the boss. Right here is going to get an early level on him. Extra speed's going to allow him to... And Oscar going to go finish this off. So, what you see me doing when I'm ending Churn a lot of the time, like I said, enemy phases in this game are very slow, and so one of the things we do is the fast camera enemy phase glitch, where we make the camera move at a faster speed than it's supposed to during enemy phase. Yes, Kit. I did a run of this yesterday, and I got an hour in, and I made one mistake that cost me my run. So, yeah, we're doing this now. Why not stream it? So by whole... yeah, it's fire. Why is my Y button not working? What the heck? That's not good. I'm gonna have to unplug my controller. This is Fire Emblem 9, Path of Radiance. And I actually do speedrun this. I've been practicing the speedrun a lot. I just don't record myself like at all when I do this. So this is gonna be, I need a recording unfortunately to get into the event. So this is actually my first time speedrunning this on hardware too. Let me unplug my controller real quick. Ideal, it works now. Alright, so this chapter is fun because we get to use Shinon. And Shinon has the Provoke skill. Oh my gosh, I messed up my movement. No! Shinon has the Provoke skill, which is going to draw enemies closer to him. So we can use him to manipulate the AI and draw him away from some other things. Yeah, this is for Estat. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, my movement is rusty. I think that's a subscribe sound. I have not done that in a while, but thank you for whoever subscribed. My overlay is like really messed up right now, so I can't see, unfortunately. And this, I don't think I added like alerts to my GameCube overlay. So like I said, we're using Shinon here because he doesn't counterattack, saving animations. The slowest part of this run by far is animation loss. And so Shinon doesn't counterattack. He automatically draws the enemies towards him. And so really nice. For the most part, just classic mid-game, early game of Titania just clears everything. Like I said, I was doing the fast enemy phase glitch where we hold down the B button to make the camera move faster during enemy phase, speed it up. Yeah, nothing too technical so far. Get Ike towards Marcia so he can recruit her, because we will be using her a lot in this run. And then set up Gatry's inventory for the next chapter. I don't blame you guys if you drop out at any point. This is like gonna be a 2-hour run. It's gonna be a long run. Marsh's HP dropped below 10, so that's going to be extra healing animation we have to sit through, unfortunately. My Y button works now. Hooray! Oh my gosh, I was going to be done. Alright, so this is where the New Game Plus is going to come into play here. We're going to now, on your first playthrough of this game, this enemy doesn't usually drop anything, but because we're on the second, he drops a Thief Band, and this is going to help manipulate our growth rates, and especially for Titania, this is going to give her some extra speed she usually wouldn't get. So very important you play on New Game Plus when you do your runs of FE9. Oops, no, let me do this first. So with here, we're going to shove train, nice feature of FE9, you can shove your units. We're going to shove train Shinon all the way up there so he can reach the spot he usually can't, and he's going to provoke basically every enemy on the map over to him, but most importantly, including the boss, getting him in range for Titania to be able to kill him next turn. Also, sorry for not doing splits. This is my first time ever using live split, and I did not feel like setting splits up. I'm so bad at this. I usually, when I do runs, I did these for fun, so I was just on like Dolphin on my laptop. I would like record my time on my clock app on my phone. So hopefully everything transfers over very well. Go, Shinon drawing everything over, and finally the boss gonna come over. Yeah, I've been running this. I actually have like a pretty decent time that's like under 20 minutes under world record. I just don't feel like submitting. I don't know, like for one, my computer, the laptop I run on, can't even record, so that's partially the reason why. But I also just didn't feel like submitting. But I'm decently proficient at this run at this point. Alright, so this next chapter is kind of fun. So this is a defend map. So unlike the other maps where we've been just trying to complete the objective as fast as possible, this objective is time-based. So you can't really, you can't really complete this as fast as possible. This is always going to take a certain amount of turns. So instead, what we want to do is we want to minimize animations. And by doing that, we just minimize combat. And this little setup right here is a really cool way to abuse enemy AI. I don't want to submit. I have to do like the safety route anyway, so I'm going to lose like a bunch of time because I want to do like a guaranteed route where I don't have to rely on RNG like I would in a normal run. So we're going to, oops, I want to use Gatry first. We're going to eliminate 2 enemies because of the priority list of how the enemies work. Currently there are 2 enemies that are ahead of these 2 archers, and we want these 2 archers to move just about first on enemy phase to set up a sneaky little abuse of how the enemy checks for targeting. So they're going to be attracted to Shinon. They're just going to attack Shinon real quick. That's fine. And because we got those 2 other enemies out of the way, those archers move first, meaning they are the closest to us. That's very important. And now that that soldier's in place, we're simply going to move Shion out of the way. And now something strange is going to happen. So usually, it looks like the enemies are just going to do nothing here. But what's happening is the enemies go through 2 phases. Well, at least these enemy AI has 2 phases. It's going to check for any enemies that it can attack in range. Now, these archers, there's nothing in range, and the enemies behind them block that tile, so they say there's nothing in range. And so there's nothing in range for those archers. And so what they're going to say is, okay, then get as close to the enemy as possible. They're as close to me as possible. The soldiers in the back row, only 1 range. They can't see anything in the front row. And so they get as close as possible, which that's as close as possible. And it just kind of creates this blockade that doesn't allow them to do anything. And we're able to clear and just spam end turn without doing any combat animations. This is a pretty normal route, pretty normal map. With the quirk of this chapter not having the enemies move before until you leave the trees, and we're just going to abuse that by getting Titania all the way over here, backpacking Ike along with her before the enemies actually start aggroing onto us. So lots of the run in this game is our carry. In this case right now it's Titania, but later on it's going to be Marcia. Backpacking Ike across the map, get him to the goal, clear the map. And those are the quickest kind of maps. Unfortunately, route maps take a while. That's kill every enemy. But we don't have too many long route maps. There is one that comes up actually in the next chapter. It's a pretty long route. Oh my gosh, can't get my fast enemy phase. It's a pretty long route map, but we brought it down to a decent time, thankfully. Actually, we are currently looking into if we can make it faster. Someone found a nice way to make it faster, and I would love to look into using that. Gonna kill a mill. Hopefully we don't miss. It's like a 90. Biorhythm messes some stuff up, but pretty guaranteed that we'll get this. And then we need the short spear for next chapter. So we're just going to drop this Iron Axe. And then we're going to swap to Ike, not Soren. We're going to escape. Alright, now here is the route map, which is going to hopefully not take too long. Alright, so this is a very large map, and we have to kill everything on it, so we're going to split it up a little bit. We're going to have most of our units go to this right area, take care of it. We're going to put Oscar over there so he triggers Shion and Gatry to spawn into this map, and then they're going to take care of the top side, starting on the next turn, and then Titania is going to take care of literally the rest of the map. Oh my gosh. My fast movement, and then Mia's gonna spawn in. She's not gonna do much, unfortunately. So, because Titania stands here, she's actually in range of all the 2 range units when she has her javelin equipped, but she's right out of range of the armor knights, which are the 1 ranges that aren't gonna die to the javelins. So we'll get them next round with the steel axe. And Ike's gonna go ahead, aggro these 2 over. And it's very important that he kills one of them because there are 2 chest keys we need to pick up on this map for a future boat map. Alright, Shion and Gatry are now in. Oscar's just gonna chip him. Hopefully chip him. He might kill him. If he does, it's whatever, but he's probably not. That's going to be Ike's kill now. Oops. Mia's going to attempt to crit this guy, but she's probably not. Unfortunate. Gatry's going to come over here and attract 2 Armor Knights, and Shinan is going to kill this archer. And he's going to use Provoke to attract most of the units over in that top area over to him for Gatry to finish off in like the next turn or so. Ike going to come over here, kill this soldier, get a level up, and more importantly, the chess key. And then Titania going to start taking care of the rest of this. She's going to now take care of all the 1 range units while staying out of the range of the 2 range units. Weapon level up there. This is maps like these are when the fast enemy phase glitch, the fast camera enemy phase glitch, I should say, comes in real handy. It's the really only glitch that we really use in this run, but it just saves camera speed movement. Unfortunately, we don't have the crit underflow glitch like the Japanese version of this. Thank you for the like. We don't have the crit underflow glitch like the Japanese version of this game has. Where you can just get a 255 crit weapon. But in return for not having that, the enemies are a lot easier than on the Japanese version. Ike gonna go ahead, finish off the right side. Titania going to finish off this mage and then set up to kill the thief on the next turn. I'm gonna guess it's Carson, but I might be wrong. And then Shinan gonna retreat, and Gatry's just gonna finish up this top side over here. So unfortunately, Armor Knights, I'm on pace. This is pretty decent pace. I mean, I haven't ran this too much recently. I know when I'm about halfway through how good I'm doing, but this isn't bad time by far. I've definitely had worse times. Armor Knight's animations are unfortunately slow, but using Gatry is the fastest way to clear this out, so we're just going to have to sit through these animations. When's Persona? The new one that just got announced? I don't think that has an announcement date. Every other Persona title's out. Oh my gosh. If you saw that little L arrow appear, that's because I forgot to hold down the A button. You will be holding down A during enemy phases to avoid a little bit of an animation, but we got our second chess key, which we'll be using later. Yeah, everyone was accidentally leaking it online, and then finally Atlas is like, okay, we'll release it, and they showed us like the most alpha version I have ever seen at the game, at the Xbox showing. Oh my gosh, just end turn, whatever. Yes, this is Path of Radiance. I do love Path of Radiance is by far my favorite Fire Emblem, and I did a speedrun with it. It's not the most interesting speedrun ever, but I do think there's some cool strategies in the later game especially that are implemented in the speedrun. Alright, so here we're going to use the short spear. We consumed a speed wing. That's good. Yeah, I haven't seen you play a lot of Among Us lately. We consumed a speed wing 2 chapters ago, and that's going to allow us to double the boss and kill him on this turn. Yeah, I saw you. I see you playing Among Us a lot. It pops up on my Discord, and I see you guys in the chat. In the Discord. VC. Gonna kill this boss, and then if we get a lucky crit, we can finish right here on this turn. But if we don't get a crit, we'll just have to wrap it up with Titania killing this on the next turn. Yeah, I enjoy Fire Emblem a lot. I've been getting into more draft race style stuff, but I still enjoy speedrunning things, especially Path of Radiance. Didn't get a crit. We'll have to finish it this turn, but that's fine. I finally completed my collection of all the Western released Fire Emblems. I just got Sacred Stones a little while ago. Skip a bunch of cutscenes here. Do I recommend the GBA ones? Yes. The GBA ones, FE7, the Blazing Sword, or as it's called in the West, Fire Emblem, and Sacred Stones are probably the best Fire Emblems to start with. Oh my gosh, I accidentally deposited the sword. No. So we're going to want to grab the Elixir here and the Night Band. The Night Band's going to help us increase our attack and defense, and we're going to use a little feature called Bonus Experience. I'll get to your question a little bit. I want to explain this real quick. So bonus experience is something unique to Fire Emblem 9 Path of Radiance, where by completing a map in a quick manner and reaching objectives, you'll be gifted these bonus experience. And you can distribute these bonus experience to your units from the menu before the map starts. And this allows us to quickly level up our units and just boost the heck out of them without having to grind or watch combat animations. And this allows us to keep someone like Ike on level without having to do much combat at all. Very important for this. I have played Engage, and I very much enjoyed Engage. I think it's very expressive. The story's really bad, but the gameplay is very fun. Three Houses, I enjoyed my first time through. I just cannot go back to it. Like, the monastery takes forever. Alright, so we got him to 10 defense, and he's going to use this new strength and defense he just got to take out some calves over here with his rapier slash regal sword, whatever you want to call it in this game. Oh my gosh. Fast enemy gaze, please. Yeah, this is the game Ike is from originally. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the GameCube, and people liked Ike enough that they put him in Smash. I actually don't know. I don't know if they put him in. He got popular because of Smash or from FE9, but people love this game, me included, obviously. But yeah, any of the GBA games are really good. The time, yeah, that's good. That means that you don't have to worry about. That means you don't have to grind as much, because once you get to the time skip, you don't have to like do anything else. It's mostly like the units are basically built by then. So Ike's gonna take care of this, and we're gonna block off for a little bit, and we're gonna do another little AI manipulation here, where Soren's going to bait another archer into coming into one range, and gonna block him off, just kind of like he did in the other defend map. So I was telling Clue about this the other day, but my first Fire Emblem was technically Heroes, because I was on my Nintendo mobile era, and I was playing every Nintendo game that came out, and Heroes came out, and I played that, and then I was like, okay, I'm part of the Fire Emblem franchise now, so I downloaded Path of Radiance on my laptop with Dolphin, and I was playing through that. I got like maybe chapter 7, and then I stopped playing, and then my laptop got wiped, and I never finished that. And then I started playing Radiant Dawn, and I finished that first. My Fire Emblem experience, and then I put down Fire Emblem, didn't play it for forever. Then Three Houses came out, and on release day, I'm like, yeah, I'll play this, and I just bought the game, and I fell in love with the series all over again. So I'm like a Three Houses baby slash Heroes baby slash my first game is FE9 because that sounds better. Alright, so we're going to unequip Ike here. Titania's going to come here, block off this spot for a little bit later. And then we're going to move Boyd here to make this tri-formation. And this is going to bait one Armor Knight down. And he's just going to consistently attack Ike. But we control the hit rate so much and the damage that this is going to minimize the amount of combat animations you have to watch. And then Soren's going to be over there. Archer's in the front, can't do anything. And then we just spam end turn. I mean, I could say I'm a Three Houses baby, and then I get judged. Or I could just say I'm an FE9 player. That was my first game, and then people are like, oh, so that's why you like do all this like technical stuff. I own all the Fire Emblems. I still haven't played them all yet. I've played the ones I wanted to play for the most part. I just got FE8. I want to play through that still, but for the most part, I've completed all the games that are like on the I need to complete this. Two more turns. I'm a fan of Awakening. I'm like in this weird mid place where I think Awakening's both like a really good game, but also it ruins itself. Because like, I think if it was just like, not the hub world, not the like, you can't like do the broken abusive stuff, where it's like, I don't know, just like grinding for one, the amount of money they give you, the DLC, and like, I guess kind of the child audience. I don't really care about the child audience too much. Mostly just the grinding that's available because of it. I feel like it'd be a really good Fire Emblem formula, but because all that stuff's there, it's like, it's so easy to break that game that it's just like, there's just so much random stuff that just kind of ruins it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and remove Titania's counter skill. This doesn't, it's only a beneficial skill per se, but it triggering is a really long animation that we just don't want to see, and so we just don't take the chance of it. And then we're going to take abuse of the forging system of FE9. This system is really ridiculous because the downside of forging is it's supposed to cost a lot of money, but this game gives you so much money that we have no reason to spend it, that we have no things to spend it on to begin with. And the way the forge system is, take a base weapon, in our case here the steel axe, which we've already been using for the most part, and then just boost the stats that you want. So we just boost the heck out of the hit rate, might, and crit of it, and then we pay our price, which is like less than a quarter of our funds, like. And so now Titania just went from about to fall off into doing mad damage again. No, yeah, another problem I have with Awakening is like, it's literally optimal to use the two characters that you start the game with. Like, you solo the entire game with those two characters, and that is, I mean, there's a few arguments going on around online right now about if that's actually truly optimal. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, no, just Robin Crom soloing the game, that's optimal. And then you could do things like reclass Pan into Wyvern Knight, and I don't have the screenshot on me right now, but I have the growth rates on that. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's like just about like the best strength speed growth rates I've ever seen on a unit ever. So we're taking this map a little slower than we could do. We could backpack Ike over like we normally do. However, there is Marcia who is recruited on this map, and so we gotta wait for her to spawn in and come over to Ike in order to get her, because she is our carry for the rest of this run. Oh, absolutely, yes. No, for sure. Like, if someone's asking me what Fire Emblem game should I start with, I'm like, you're playing either a GBA game, Awakening, or like, I guess Three Houses or Engage based on like, but like, I don't think you really should play those as a first game. No, yeah. I say you're either playing a GBA game, FE9, which is this Path of Radiance, or you're playing Awakening. Those are like the best games to start with. There's like no argument against that. We said Three Houses at the time because of how popular the Switch was, and like it was the only Fire Emblem game there. But definitely now I would say you should not start with Three Houses. I actually recently had a friend start with Three Houses, and he said he started playing Engage, and he's like, this is just not the same. I want, like, where's my management sim? And I'm like, yeah, that's not Fire Emblem. If you want that, you should go play like Persona or something. I was not keeping track of my HP. Okay, so we are below a threshold. There is a chance that this boss activates counter. And if he does that, he does 10 extra damage to us. And we just don't want to take that risk. So we're just going to go ahead and take the extra heal animation that he's going to provide. No real time loss. Just an extra animation we have to watch right here. A little slow, but it's whatever. And Marcia's going to self-recruit herself. And she's going to Fairy Ike all the way over to the capture point. Wow, Titania goes ahead and kills the boss. And then just kind of chills out and waits for Ike to come over here. Supposed to go in a straight line, I swear, but I'm used to using a keyboard. Like that's what I've done like my best runs on. I've learned how to adjust to the GameCube D-pad, but so let me tell you about how this game works. You have two options to move in this game. You have your nice left stick, which everyone's gonna be like, okay, just use that, or you have the D-pad. The problem with the left stick is it doesn't stop at your movement range, like the end of your movement range. It doesn't stop there, but the D-pad does. And so you want to use the D-pad. And this is a GameCube controller D-pad. Alright. So this map is usually a map where you jailbreak a bunch of people. You can recruit a bunch of units, but also there's a side objective here of stealth, not getting noticed by the enemies who won't come after you until you are in their line of sight. However, if you can complete the entire map without getting spotted by the enemies, you get a ton of bonus experience, and we want that bonus experience. That bonus experience is everything. The units here, they're good units, but they take too much investment. We don't really care about them. So we're just actually going to run around, dodging all these enemies' line of sight, and just make it to the exit as fast as possible. And we're just going to leave all these extra allies locked up. Go there. Yeah, I guess I've technically finally learned claw grip, because I don't know what I'm doing with my hands right now, but this is definitely not how you're supposed to hold it like a GameCube controller. And we're going to recruit Volk for later. He's going to help us open some chests and steal some items. Or not steal some items, find some items, I guess, technically. And now we do what everyone loves to do in your casual runs of this game. First of all, make sure you get this Lagoose Slayer. Very important. There is no other Lagoose Slayer that you can get before we need it. But now what we're going to do is we're going to trade Marcia. We're going to give her the chest key for a later map. We're going to trade Ike to give him the Pegasus Band because we want a little more resistance on him. And we want more defense on Marcia also when she levels up. We're going to give her the Seraph Robe that we got Chapter 1, which is going to give her a little increase in HP. And we're going to forge her a Lance to help her with her I guess, strength problem. It's not really a strength problem. And then we're going to do some bonus experience. We're going to give 1 level to Ike. This is going to be consistency to make sure that the calves in this map make it a little more consistent where they canto, so they don't block us off and literally just make this map impossible to complete. And then we're going to do Marcia, scene 0 combat. We're going to instant promote her, because in this game, you can promote by getting to level 21. And there's a reason we call this game Flyer Emblem. If you are on wings, especially in Path of Radiance, you are a really good unit. Marcia being the first flyer you get, a really good unit all around. And promoting her gives her 1 more movement. She's going to take to the skies, and she's just going to carry us through literally the rest of the game. Once again, this unit has seen 0 combat, but we were able to get her to promote immediately, like two chapters later, all because of the bonus experience mechanic. Please bring it back. And because of the Nightband that we traded her earlier from off of Ike, she's actually going to get a bit more defense than she's supposed to get. And that's going to allow her to actually take a lot more hits and be a lot less vulnerable. That's usually one of the Pegasus Knight's biggest weaknesses. They don't have much defense, but having that Nightband, that's going to fix it. She actually has more defense than she has resistance right now. There we go, level 21, that's promotion. Unskippable cutscene time. Look at those stats. Alright, that should be it. We got the Goose Slayer already. I'm just going to make sure we did. I know we did, but I don't want to forget that. And we should be good to go. We're literally just going to be using Marcia for this chapter. And this is going to be a simple carry. Things can technically go wrong here, but there's such a low chance of them going wrong with the current route that we've developed. You shouldn't really have to worry about it. We're actually going to stay out of the aggro line of most of the enemies for the entire chapter, so these enemy phases are going to go very fast. And then we're simply going to come over here. I'm going to drop Ike off over here. Marcia's going to come down here. And then, so the one thing that can go wrong here is enemies on mounts can move after they've attacked. And if you get extremely unlucky, they can actually block off, so Ike can't get to the escape point. And if you do that, you just have to cry. So we're hoping that they all canto down to the right, and we don't get anybody blocking us off here. Marcia's not really in any danger of dying. This is the scary guy. Please go down to the right. Please go down to the right. Thank you. And then Marcia's just going to come over here. She's going to kill this guy blocking off our escape point, and we're just going to escape with Ike. That extra level we gave Ike at the beginning of the chapter surprisingly makes this a lot more consistent that the Cavaliers run away from him. Alright, we're going to recruit Sothier. We're going to need him for grabbing an item in the desert. And that is literally his entire purpose. We didn't actually used to do this like a few years ago. I think this improvement was made like 2022, 2023. They decided to change that. Oops, you're not gonna go there. You're gonna go there. Oops, you're gonna wait there, and you're gonna go there. We're gonna two-turn this map real quick. There's a lot of crows here, and there's gonna be more that spawn in. But if we beat them all before the reinforcements spawn in, we clear the map a little early. So this boss is gonna be one of 3 bosses in this game that have the skill Miracle. And if you're unfamiliar with Fire Emblem and don't know what Miracle is, when you are about to kill the enemy, they have a chance to live your hit. But in this game, it's even more ridiculous. It says you have a percentage chance if a hit is going to kill you to reduce that damage taken from that hit to half. And this is going to be the first one. There's 3 of them in the entire game. And if any of them proc, you just kind of have to be like, okay, I hope you die the next turn. And if it procs too much, you're just kind of run dead. I don't know. Giving bosses Miracle. Why does Fire Emblem do this stuff? However, this boss is... yeah, no, it halves. It halves the killing blow. Don't worry. We make up for it with breaking some other skills. I'll explain them later. But in addition, this boss has the corrosion skill, which if a hit connects, there is a chance that corrosion activates, which just deletes your durability on your weapon. Thankfully, it did not trigger here, and Miracle didn't trigger either, so we got lucky here. But either one of those is really just annoying to deal with. You just have to take an extra turn, or you have to route around the durability loss on your forge. Alright, so this next one is a little interesting, I'll say. We're going to get Marcia up to level 9 here. We just want her stats to go really high, and it'll just guarantee that she's run-rounding everything, minimizes her chances of missing and all that fun stuff. And it allows us to use Forge Javelins reliably, which give her effectively 1-2 range. And because they're Forged, they're a lot stronger than regular Javelins, and it just allows her to obliterate a lot of things that she would have to worry about otherwise. Right, we do that, and we're going to come up here. Marcia is going to go ahead and consume the Seraph Robe, get a little more HP, which we're going to be using in the chapter after this one. And we're going to forge her a Javelin. Javelin should not be this strong ever, but thank you, Forge System, very cool. Alright, we're going to deselect Soren here, Mia, Miss, because we don't need them. And we're going to do some very specific unit movement. We're going to do this here, this here, this here, this here. So this map is, it's a mix between a defend map, but if you route it, the map will end early. I'm moving Oscar first. Oh my gosh, I blanked there on who I was supposed to move. However, enemy reinforcements will keep spawning unless all the treasure chests on this map are open. So we gave a don't want to enter in yet. We gave chest keys to Marcia and Titania, and they're gonna go ahead and open a few chests. And then we're just going to escort Volk, our thief, around the rest of the map and have him open a bunch of the rest of the chests for us. And then all the enemies will start flying away. All the reinforcements will fly away, and we can end this map as soon as possible. We want Boyd here. Shove. I wanted that. Open another chest. Smite Ike. And we're also going to be rescuing all these green units because the other phase and the green unit AI is really annoying. And it's more animations we have to watch. And however, if the green units are rescued, they can't move or do anything. And that's less animations we have to watch, less variability we have to deviate in our plan, and that's just all around good. And so by the second turn, all of the enemy units, or all the green units, will be rescued. Yeah, there's some really broken stuff in FE9. That's what I like about it. There's a variety of customization and brokenness that you can make with skill custom combinations, but it's not to the point where it's like any unit can become this monstrosity. You still have to units still have classifications. You can't just turn any unit into a broken machine. We're going to go ahead and kill you off. However, if corrosion activated, we wouldn't be able to use our Steel Forge here, which would be sad, but it did not, thankfully, and we will be able to use our Steel Forge. Marshall going to take the left side, Titania going to take the right side. Leaf going to come over here, finish this guy off. Mordecai going to go ahead and take this green unit. Oscar going to come over here and rescue this one. Just wait right here. And then Gatcha going to block off the defend point. And Volk's going to make his way over to the next chest. Unfortunately, not getting many crits here. Crits are really nice, especially that's why we forged that extra 9 crit on the weapons. Not particularly because we need the crit, more because if that extra crit's going to save us some animation frames. And FE9 overrolled, even with animations off, these battle phases are slow. There's a reason in the community we joke about FE9 enemy phases taking an eternity and a half. In a few chapters, I think it's like 5 chapters or so, you're going to see the notorious map for taking up everyone's FE9 time. Oops. Go ahead, open this chest. Oh my gosh, we're getting no crits. So sad. Just come here. I'm a little slower than I usually am. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. There we go. That's a nice crit. Energy drop, we're going to use that on Ike in a little bit, because Ike is going to be our Ashnard killer. Volk going to come up here and open the last chest. And now all the reinforcements are going to start flying away. And then we're just going to have Marcia and Titania finish up these last two enemies. And we'll just spam end turn from there. Alright, now these next two chapters are going to be the quest to make, these are the 2023, I don't remember what the exact year, but we actually were able to speed up the run by saving animation. So usually we just do the route as fast as possible. However, we found out that we could take a very calculated risk to the point where there's almost no chance that it backfires on us. And we're going to pick up, we're going to spend a little extra time and pick up 2 extra skills to give to Marcia that hopefully in the long run, most likely in the long run, will save us a lot of animation frames. However, it is luck percent chance that these skills activate, and if they do activate not at all, it is a time loss. However, if they activate at least twice, then it is a positive gain. So, you know, for the rest of the run, you know, it's a pretty good gamble, pretty good risk that I'm glad we incorporated in the run. So we're going to pick up Vantage here. And what Vantage does in FE9, you may know Vantage from other Fire Emblem games, but specifically in FE9, you always attack first. No HP requirement at all. You always attack first. And that's going to mean that on enemy phase, when Marcia just runs up to a giant group of enemies, she's just going to be taking them out most of the time before they even get a chance to attack. And if we get a crit, they won't even get an attack at all. Oh, you think that's broken? You can combine it. And I'll show, I want to talk about that. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of ways you can combine it in this game. The way we do it is like probably not the most broken way it can be. And that's why we give her 2 Seraph Robes, by the way. So she can survive that crit in case that happens. But you can combine it with other stuff to make it like even more ridiculous than it needs to be. We're going to save this Killer Axe for Titania. And then we're going to get, this next chapter is where we're going to get the other skill we're going to be giving to Marcia, along with, we're going to be meeting the side condition in this chapter in order to get a bunch of bonus experience. So, oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to reposition. Been playing too much FE7. So the side condition in this chapter is kill only the boss. This is a defeat boss clear condition, as you can see in the top right there. And if you only kill the boss, you get a bunch of bonus experience. So we're going to just set this up right here. We're sending Volk up to go and get the boots hidden in the desert, and we have Soth deployed to go ahead and get the other skill we're going to be giving Marcia. So Volk's going to come over, Soth's going to come here, get the guard skill, and then we're going to go to Volk, who's going to come up here, grab the boots, and then Marcia's going to just come over here and kill the boss. And in FE9, thieves standing on treasure spots are guaranteed to pick them up. They changed that in FE10. They thought that was too good apparently, so now it's a variable chance, but in FE9 it is guaranteed. But now we have both skills that we're going to give Marcia. And the other skill, Guard, I believe this is the first game it was introduced in. Basically, you have a percentage chance to, if you hit the enemy before they get to it, before they've attacked, you have a percentage chance to just skip their attack. So combine this with Vantage, and now we have a chance to crit and kill the enemy before they even get a move. And there's also a chance working that they just don't move at all. Like their attack animation is just skipped, which is going to save us a bunch of animation frames in the long run. As long as guard procs twice, we are saving time. You can also combine Vantage with things like Wrath, where you just drop your HP below 50, get your Wrath crit boost, which is broken in this game. I think it's like plus 50 for being like under 50% HP. You also have Resolve, which is when you're under 50 HP, your strength, speed, and like skill get multiplied by 1.5. We'll use that combination to on the final map to defeat Ashnode. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead, bonus experience Ike up to level 20. Just make him a little stronger, and also, but he's so close to level 20, by putting him at level 20, when after a combat, the XP bar just doesn't show up anymore, and that's going to save us some frames also. And then we're just going to dump the rest of our XP into Marcia, so by the end of the Forest chapter, she'll be at like level 18 about, and then from that'll be like pretty strong. I don't know the exact reasoning for all these BXP benchmarks, but I do know that someone more intelligent than me has very rigorously planned this out, and I just stick to the route. I'm going to give Titania the Killer Axe. We're going to Convoy, give those to the Convoy. We are going to trade with Volk. I'm going to go ahead and fill his inventory up. Marcia's going to use these boots, get 2 more extra movement, and then we're going to forge a second Javelin. No, not wait. Hit. Crit. And then that should be it. I think I did everything right. And this is something I added to the run. Unselect those, and then you won't see any transformation animations. Alright, 2 more extra movement. You fly a lot farther. Now, thanks to Vantage and Guard, we don't really have to worry about enemy phase animations anymore, because in theory, Marcia will just obliterate here. Titania's been using the Thief Band, so she actually has enough speed here to not get doubled by these Myrmidons, even though she is rescuing Volk. And the reason we're rescuing Volk is because there is an item in this map that we need, and so Titania is just going to be his taxi to get him there, while Marcia brings Ike all the way up to the boss. We will not be doing gamble strats, unfortunately. I don't feel like the minute time save is not worth the coin flip. Or it's not even coin flip. I think it's like a 20% chance to save a minute. It's just not. Ugh. Alright, go here. Chap this guy. The crit's putting in their work. Come here. We're gonna go. Oops, I want to equip late. There we go. Vantage already putting in work. It didn't really do anything there. It did technically cost us time there because Vantage has to activate every turn with that little glow animation. But every time Vantage activates, there's a chance that we just crit and skip animations we'd otherwise have to watch. And there's always a chance that Guard will activate. It hasn't activated yet, unfortunately. But there is a chance it'll activate. Alright, let's not make the same mistake I made a few times ago. And we're going to drop Ike right. And Titania's going to come over here and drop Volk down. And then because Ike is unequipped, he's going to attract a bunch of enemies. He doesn't have an XP bar, so he's actually fast to attract all the enemies. Marcia has to sadly be equipped, because otherwise they'd kind of get blockaded. But this will allow a clear path to just end the chapter next turn. And then we didn't We didn't deploy Mordecai, so we're not going to have to watch the transformation animation. So that's cool also. Not getting like any crits or guard procs, unfortunately. But we'll have plenty of times for guard to activate once in the next few chapters. Alright, so Marcia's going to come over here, kill the boss, steal his spear. Unfortunately, no crits. Titania gonna come over here, break this door down. Volk gonna come inside, grab this full guard, and this is an item that makes it negates the user from weapons that are effective against flying enemies. So basically for Marcia, this is going to be, yeah, bows and wind tomes. Yeah, you aren't weak to those anymore. You just take normal damage. All right, so now we are going to go to Ike, and we are going to forge him a steel sword. Max attack, hit, and crit. All right. We're also going to shop, and we are going to buy pure waters for the later game. But this shop has pure waters, and might as well get them now. And we are also going to, I believe there's one more thing. Yes, we need to list the energy drop. Very important. Glad I remember that. And we should be good. And this is 4 maps. These are the infamous FE9 maps that you have to fight in a row without being able to swap any units. And yeah, we're just going to clear it with Ike and Marcia. The most infamous of these are going to come up. Don't worry, we will see it. We're going to energy drop there. Marcia going to come up here. We're going to jab him. This is just going to be a simple route map. This isn't the bad one. The bad one is the third one. That's going to be a survive, which is a defend map, except you don't have to defend anything. It's a survive map where Ike is permanently forced to rescue someone. Okay, thankfully we're getting a bunch of crits now. And it's just a lot of enemies on the map that we don't want to take care of. But after these 4 maps, I'd say that's about the halfway mark for the run. Unfortunately, we are not proccing guard at all. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm sure we'll proc it twice, though. I mean, we procced it there, but it didn't matter. Alright, I'm gonna bring Ike over here. He's gonna take care of these guys. And Marcia's just going to take care of this group up here. Procced again when it didn't matter. No. There we go. As you can see, he didn't get a counterattack at all. We want to drop this javelin. Alright, this is just going to be a simple escape map. So we're just going to have Marcia ferry Ike all the way over to the escape point, and nice enough, there's some spots that only flyers can get to. And by standing on these spots, the enemies actually won't even be able to spot us. So we'll just ferry our way over. I always mess that up. Always one to the right. Alright, so here it is, the infamous FE9 map. I believe this is like chapter 17-3. And oh boy. We try to make it fast, and we semi-succeed. We make it faster than it usually is, but still going to be a long run. Alright, so we're going to have Marcia kill off a few of these units over here, but mostly we were trying to get rid of these mages, because the idea here is we're just going to have Ike get hit by a single soldier a bunch of times in a row, and that's going to minimize our attacking animations. One soldier is going to be a lot better than a bunch of other things, and these mages are 2 range. We don't want any of that, so we're just going to keep one soldier alive, and basically the idea is we just corner Ike and let that one soldier just beat up on him, and if he gets too low, then we heal with the elixir. In an ideal world, we don't have to elixir at all. That's probably... You're probably going to have to elixir once. If you're extremely unlucky and you get hit by everything, you have to elixir twice. But, you know, ending like 8 turns in a row, it'll go faster than you'd have to play this in your casual. Kill Lance here. Oops. I'm pressing the wrong button. And here's the soldier. So now that we kind of got everything set up, we're just going to have Ike run over to the corner of the map over here, and Marcia's just going to fly over here where she's not going to be able to be reached by anyone. Now Ike's just going to corner himself, and we're just going to mash end turn unless we're to the point that we need to heal. Important to note, the soldier has no crit chance on Ike whatsoever, so the damage is in a very controlled environment. Let's go. Getting some good dodges. We might actually not have to elixir. Ooh, I don't think we have to elixir. Let's go. Yep, elixirless. Let's go. Alright. That is probably... I'm not going to say the longest. I'm going to say the second longest chapter completed. And compared to the other one, this one's nothing. This is going to be a two-turner. This is simply... Marcia needs an extra turn to be able to get to the boss. But she just one-taps the boss. And then we are probably about halfway done with the run. We're just gonna javelin him. Nothing procced. Unfortunate. There we go. Ike promotes. Alright, so we got a few things to do here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to give Ike 2 levels. And that's because we need a little bit more strength in order to one-round some Wyverns riders in the next map. And then we're just going to go ahead and cap Marcia off. She's going to be doing a lot of combat, and we don't want the XP bar to appear really. And we have enough BXP at this point, and she's really close to level 20 anyway. Alright, after that, we're going to come here to outfit. Marcia is going to convoy give the Steel Lance. She doesn't need the Night Band anymore because she already maxed out. She is going to convoy take, and we are going to take, important, don't forget this time. We're going to take Full Guard, and we are going to take, crap, what the heck was the other thing I was supposed to take? I know there was something else I was supposed to take. Chest key off of Titania. I'll just trade that off. Shop forge, and we're going to forge our third javelin. I'm going to go ahead and equip that Full Guard. And we should be good. Going to allow them to join, and now we also have access to our dancer. And Raisin also, who's going to, Tanith also. Raisin's our dancer. Tanith, she's a pre-promoted Pegasus, so she's already going to be having really good stats, and she's going to mostly, for the most part, be babysitting Raisin, but she'll have some combat every now and then. She's just an extra flyer in Flyer Emblem, so no reason not to use her. Shove him over, Raisin 1 tile off, and then now Raisin can reach Marcia and dance. And now Marcia can go off and clear the rest of the map for us. Titania gonna come up here, finish off the rest of these enemies. She has to kill her next quick. Good. Tanith gonna come over here and make sure Raisin doesn't die. Oops. Raisin, I don't know. This is a route map, by the way, with some reinforcements. Not too many, thankfully, but there are some reinforcements. Oh my gosh. So we gave Titania the Killer Axe here because the goal of this map, it's a slow one, so we want to maximize our chances of critting. And just like that, save a little animations. Alright, Ike's gonna come over here, equip the steel sword, and he's gonna take care of those wyverns. Titania, or Marsha's gonna come over here and start just cleaning up the rest of this map. Slowly making her way across, killing everything in her path on the way there. Ooh, one up, please. I'm gonna play it safe here. You're just gonna want to kill this. Got the crit anyway. And we're gonna bring Titania down there, and then you're gonna come right over here. And we're going to position Tanith and Titania down there to block incoming reinforcements, because there are 2 tiles that reinforcements are supposed to spawn on. However, if they are standing there instead, the reinforcements will simply not spawn. And less reinforcements means a quicker route. No crits with Ike. Well, it's too late now. Doesn't really help. Alright, we're going to fly over here. We're going to open this chest. And this is going to give us Wrath. We're going to be using this in the last chapter of the game. And then Titania is going to get in position to block the reinforcement. Yeah. There's also this weird glitch in the game. I think it's really funny. If you give Ike the Aether skill and he hits a door with the Aether skill, he'll I think it's like a crit Aether or something like that. He'll just like loop that animation for a while because it doesn't know how to process the animation of the door getting Aethered. The animations in this game are definitely just funny. The models are really weird too. Like you can see, like sometimes the javelin will switch because it's being used at 1 range versus 2 range. I am getting to the point where some of these chapters I'm going to have to start safety saving on because I just do not want to do it. It was so bad in my practice run because the run I recorded before this, my memory card just decided to randomly stop being read because my GameCube's getting a little older, and sometimes my GameCube just doesn't want to read my memory card. Middle of the run, it's just like, actually, your memory card can't be read anymore, which I did figure out thanks to my faulty GameCube. It's actually faster if there's no memory card inserted. However, I couldn't do my safety saves. So if I got bad RNG, it's just dead run. And look how far I am. Like, this is hour and a half into a run. You do not want to lose your run like this far in unless you're like going for like an actual good time. There we go. Gotta use the Killer Lance here, so this is where hopefully we see all our crits. Guard. It'll save us. Just not letting these birds take their turns. Very fun. Very satisfying.
Alright, so this next chapter is actually really fun. I probably should have safety saved. I can still safety save. I hear there is... I've never had it happen, but I hear there's a chance that it could just fail. So I'm just going to do a quick safety save. No, we want to... So this is a very fun chapter, I think at least, because we get to take full abuse of the Teleseries shove command that every unit... So if your unit has a higher constitution than your other ally has like weight or something, something like that, you can actually shove them one tile. And by that itself, it's like a nice niche mechanic. However, if you have a lot of units like so, you can have a lot of fun with this. I believe, oops, I think it's, yeah, you want to come over here to Boyd. And we can start moving units a lot farther than they were meant to be moved. Like so. Off X. And that's a one turn. Don't hire, or you'll have to watch a really long cutscene that you do not want to watch. I will be doing a safety save here, but I want to just... I'm not going to do it right here. So we're going to go ahead and grab Khalil. Oops, I want to do this. And then I will do the extra bit of making sure this... minimizing my chances of having to restart this level. So there's actually a cool strat. So Khalil is a very interesting unit in that it's not so much her stats we're focused on, but she comes with the Meteor Tome, and that is what we call a Siege Tome in Fire Emblem, where you have, like, it is a 10 range magic tome, and in this, that is very nice. You can hit a lot of things from far away that you don't have to run up to anymore. However, the downside is there are 5 uses of the Meteor Tome, and there are like 7 places we want to use it. So we have to pick where we use it. And so what the main run does in this is it uses the Meteor Tome as a backup for this map. However, I will not be doing that. I'm just going to straight up be using it for this map, because the place where we would use it instead, if we did save the extra use here, would be, it's a coin flip. It's like you have to hit a 50% chance, and I don't feel like taking that risk, unfortunately, right now. So instead, we're just going to be doing, we have meteors to spare, basically, and so no worries here. We're about our backup. But the sad thing is, even though it is a backup strat, we have meteor as a backup, we can still miss the meteor. You can just, like, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in this chapter in general, and I just do not feel like having a 4th run or so be lost to this chapter right now. Not a fun chapter. A lot of things can go wrong, but in an ideal world, nothing goes wrong. We will see what happens. So we're going to trade Short Sword for Killer Lance. We're going to take the Jab. We're going to unequip, and we're going to send Tanith all the way up here. She has a chance to die, but it's really low, and so we're just going to pray that nothing happens. Marsha's going to simply unequip. She's going to bring Ike all the way over here. Raisin's going to come over here and dance for them. I guess it's more of a sing. Marsha going to drop Ike all the way in front of the boss with weapon equipped, so he's going to have a chance to do some stuff. Titania is going to come over here and babysit Raisin, make sure he doesn't die, and Khalil's going to run up here. And it's actually important that she actually stands there, because she's there, the way that the Wyverns are going to canto after attacking Ike or Marsha is going to be away instead of blocking the path to the boss. they see that that Khalil can hit a meteor on them, and so they run out of her attack range, basically. Yeah, KG. It's a lot of information. I know. I'm set. Alright, so what I did is I did the normal strat that you do when you're trying to save meteor, even though I know that I'm okay using a meteor. And that's simply just to like maximize my chance of killing the boss. Basically, you need Ike to crit or activate either here. And if he doesn't do either, then you have to burn a meteor. And then if meteor misses, you lose. So don't have any of that happen. And we're just going to have Ike Aether here because why not? Or crit. Either a crit. Or neither. Okay, neither one of them happened. So now we're going to have to pray that our meteor does not miss. We also have Tanith picking up the rescue staff here. And then we are going to simply have Khalil come up here and drop a meteor on the boss. Don't miss an 83, please. Thankfully, we did not miss the 83. And then we're just going to have Marcia clear. I've had runs where I missed that 83. It is the saddest thing ever. Alright, so we're going to... If Ike got the Aether there, he would have reached level 10. That was the ideal, but either way, we need Ike to be level 10 here, and that's for this little bit of resistance he's going to get here. We're also going to unequip the Ether skill, because that's extra animations that we don't want to watch. And then we are going to give Marcia a Forged Silver Lance. Silver Lance. And this is going to be the second boss that has Miracle. And this is also going to be the main map for why we got the Pure Waters back a few chapters ago. Oh my gosh, need to move there. There. And you're going to go right there. So we're going to go Regal Sword here because there's a few armor units we don't want to worry about. We're also going to Pure Water here because now we have the correct res benchmark plus the Pure Water boosting our res a little bit more. For a little bit, I'll explain it in a little bit. I want to explain this right here because we're going to have Raisin dance. Going to sit right outside Raisin's range. Raisin's going to dance her. We're going to trade Wrath for Elixir, put the Elixir on her. We're going to equip our Javelin so we can counter at 2 range. And we're going to use our Pure Water on Marcia as well. And that's going to boost her resistance up. And the reason we are doing this is the bottom area where the boss is, there is a mage that has the Sleep Tome, or the Sleep Staff, I mean. And if that hits any of your units, it's a low chance, but if it does hit any of your units, they can just straight up not move. Oh, we got lucky. So that's actually a really low chance that Marcia doubles there, and we got it. So that's cool. That's going to save us some time next turn. But yeah, if it hits, a low percentage chance, but if it hits, you just can't move. The chapter's basically done. There's not much you can do. So we don't want them even aiming at it, and we now have such a high resistance chance that the hit rate on Sleep for both Marcia and Ike is 0%, and the Bishop is actually just going to straight up and suicide into Marcia. So Marcia here going to equip the Spear for a little bit more damage, drop Ike below, and going to cancel over there. We're just going to bring Tanith with Raisin into the corner. They're just going to hide there for the rest of the map. Charonio is going to attack Ike. This looks a little scary if it hits. That looks like a lot of damage, but it's just Charonio. He's got a really high strength stat. And we're just going to recruit him next turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Ooh, that's weird. I've actually never seen this knight attack Ike, but whatever. It dies this turn instead of being alive. Citrone is going to help with a little bit. The other mage right there has a little bit of a variation of how he can move, and sometimes he blocks Ike from being able to capture the throne once the boss battle's over, and Citrone is going to be there to clear him out in case he gets in the way. But he's also going to be here to help Ike get a little bit closer to the boss, so we're going to go ahead and recruit him real quick. We're going to wait, and Citrone is going to come up here and rescue Ike. Marcia is going to trade her used spear for the fresh spear that Chironio has. She's going to equip the Silver Lance to deal with the boss, take drop Ike up, and run straight into the boss to enemy phase him. And this boss does have Miracle. We can't even one round it. It's going to be 2 round, but we do double it. And as long as we don't miss any hits, we have 2 chances to kill here. So as long as it doesn't double proc Miracle, we should be fine. If it double procs Miracle, it's a sad day. Mage isn't even going to move in the way, so we don't even have to use Chironio. That's cool. So a little thing about this run actually is you don't want Ike to get too powerful because of the strat used on the final boss. You actually need him to get hit by the boss. And so it's very controlled. Okay, we're not getting Miracle. That's good. That means it's a free clear. So you actually have to control your XP and not get him too high of a level, or he actually becomes too fast and the final boss will miss him and the strat will just not work. You will lose. Alright, so this map has 2 variations based on how many meteor uses we have left. I was going to do the safer version anyway because I don't feel like taking a 50% hit rate. So it doesn't really matter, but we're kind of forced to use the other variation anyway because we used the meteor use already. Alright, so we're going to have Quill come up here, and she's going to drop a meteor on the priest here. So the boss... This is just a giant hall of enemies, and the boss is all the way in the back. So we have 2 options here. We can drop 3 meteors on the boss to kill him, or we don't have enough meteor usages, and that requires a 50% hit rate because Quill can't sadly drop all the meteors. So we're going to do the other version, which is just clear a path through this hallway to the boss and kill him. We don't want Tanith there. Oops, that was almost a mistake. No, Khalil. I believe this is the final chapter where Khalil's used. She's used a lot more in the JP version, but we have Largo instead for the map that she's used. I forgot to check. Good thing I checked. That only has 1 use of Javelin left, and that might have screwed us over, so thankfully I did check, so we're just going to go ahead, swap that over to a spear, and then we'll smite her up. And she'll be able to finish off by clearing out this guy. And then we can just go to Raisin, who's going to dance for Marcia, who is going to run down the gauntlet that we just cleared. And we're going to Silver Lance the boss. We clear this turn. If not, this doesn't always happen, but the way we set this up, the boss would have attacked first next turn. But we get the crit. Save ourselves a little time. And we're on to the next chapter. I should have safety saved. I can do it later. So this one has a risk of you dying, and it's just a very scary map in general, but we should be good. I'll try to get it. Alright, we're going to give her this. And a convoy give the spear that we just got because we don't need that. And we're actually going to forge a slim sword, and we use this for a couple things, but one of the main reasons we actually use this, for one, it doesn't weigh us down as much, because Marcia is going to have to be lugging Ike across this entire bridge, the Notorious Bridge, I should say. But another reason is there's a lot of axe users that she's going to be facing against, and if you have weapon triangle advantage, the opponent actually has less hit rate. And so we're going to be taking advantage of the weapon triangle here to try and take less hits in general. There is a chance that Marcia dies here. I did not safety save. Oh well. Let's hope the bad stuff doesn't happen. This is what you need the full guard for also. These ballistas would hurt a lot against the flyer usually, but because we have the full guard, we're actually taking normal damage here. There we go. We're getting a nice guard, canceling him out. We don't have to worry about him. We have a lot of things working in our favor that should keep Marcia alive, but there is always a chance that she'll die. A little more damage than I probably wanted her to take, but I think we're still fine. My gosh. Come on, Marcia, I need you to dodge. Unfortunately, this clears fast enough that we don't actually have turns to heal. Otherwise, I would not mind using the elixir at all. But we actually just straight up don't have turns to heal. Thankfully, we can actually drop Ike off now, so Marcia doesn't have to be weighed down by Ike anymore. And then, hopefully she just survives this onslaught. I think we're safe at this point. There's like one more thing she has to dodge. There we go. And then thankfully the boss is using a Flame Lance, which does magical damage, and Marcia has really good resistance, so the boss is going to be doing like nothing. Doesn't even matter. It doesn't even get to attack us. Alright. Alright, this next chapter, not a really difficult one. Just a little annoying because there's going to be a lot of green units that are going to be moving, and they just take a lot of time. Alright, we're going to keep these guys. We're going to keep Khalil because she actually has a high... she has a high constitution, meaning she actually is able to shove Raisin, which we're going to be taking full advantage of here. She's just going to come up here, shove Raisin. Mordecai here going to come smite. Miriam going to come up here and actually has high enough constitution to shove a flyer. And then Ike's going to give the final shove to Raisin. Marcia going to come up here. Tanith going to move here. Tanith's going to come and visit a village a little bit later on, but for right now he's just going to chill out here. And Marcia's going to make her way towards the capture point. And then she's going to take Raisin with her so he doesn't die. That Swordmaster makes so many problems. We'd have so many less problems if that Swordmaster didn't exist. Oh well. Right. I'm gonna move Ike down here so he doesn't have to face any more enemies. Marcia's gonna come here and kill this Swordmaster. And make her way towards the exit point. And Tana's gonna make her way towards this house. This is actually an interesting green unit formation. I don't think I've actually seen them do this before. Just a lot of time just waiting for these units to move. And then there's actually a Valkyrie back there that can heal if it gets damaged, and you have to watch the healing animations. It can be a little annoying sometimes. Alright. Make sure to visit this village first because you need the savior skill in order for Marcia to not get overweighted in the end towards the other towards the later maps, which I guess like in 2 chapters is when I start considering it endgame maps. Alright, time for Eat Rock, everyone's favorite chapter. The final route map of the game, I believe. And we are simply going to have Marcia. She needs to grab where the heck is Joffrey? She needs to take the Brave Lance from him. And she'll be using that from she wants to use that for the rest of the game. Yeah, eat rock. I'll explain. It's a fan name chapter, but we're going to actually take Largo here. And we're actually going to give him Largo Colossus and a forged hand axe, and this is more just for security more than anything else. You can technically get away with the tomahawk. I've gotten away with the tomahawk before, but I just want to maximize my chances of success here. So we're gonna go here. So Marcia would love to use the Brave Axe for the rest of the run, but unfortunately there's only like 25 uses of it, and we need to manage those pretty tightly, so she will not be using them for that many. Alright, you come down here, you go here, you go here. So, there's literally a text box that unfortunately I am going to be skipping. That's where the enemy yells at you, eat rock. And I think it about summarizes it. This is a map where there are enemies all the way up on the top of these hills, chucking giant boulders down that will roll over anyone in their path and deal damage to them. Now, we don't really care about the boulder damage early. It's really a non-factor. However, the animation it takes for those boulders to roll down takes forever. In fact, there is one that's kind of like the tutorial boulder that no matter what your positioning of your units, they will always roll that boulder. So you'll see it. It is a long animation. We're actually making use of the Lagu Slayer that we got all the way back in like chapter 7 or something. This is the only Lagu Slayer you can get outside of this chapter, and by the time we get it in this chapter, it's already too late. So it's kind of cool that we're using something all the way from chapter 7 all the way here, and it's the only one we could get. Marcia going to be using her newly acquired Brave Axe to take out most of these enemies up on the top side. Tanith going to come here and babysit Raisin for a little bit, but she has a job to fulfill most likely. Make sure I cancel downwards so I don't eat extra rocks. And because these enemies don't see anybody in their boulder path, they're instead just going to all run at Marcia and die. That's the tutorial rock that gets pushed out no matter what. Guard finally putting in the use. Fortunately, not getting crits. We want a few crits here because we need 15 uses on the Brave Lance for in 2 chapters, so that we don't have to have a shakier hit rate, and it'll just overall make things faster. The more uses of Brave Lance we consume, the more it's really microseconds that we save, but every second counts. Everything adds up overall. It's really just these berserkers and their giant HP stat that I think they're warriors. Yeah, they're one of them, and they're just alright. So we need him to kill. Alright, he killed. That's what the Colossus and the Forged Hand Axe were for. We just need to reliably make sure that we're able to kill him. And now that we're able to kill him, everything else should just play out as it normally does. We're gonna simply come over here. We have a chance to 1 round, and we do get the Oko, so that's cool. We did get the lucky stat roll. Marcia's going to come over here. She's basically done using the Brave Lance for this chapter, so she's just going to go in with the spear now. Don't need Purge. She's going to clear out these enemies on enemy phase. Tanith is going to come over here, drop Raisin off in a safe spot. Mordecai is going to position himself to be able to smite Ike next turn to get 2 extra spaces, and Largo's going to try and clean up these 2 people. Ideally, he kills both of them, and he does. we chose the safer route of the hand axe because it has more hit. We're not really worried about power anymore, but the increased hit rate from the forged hand axe is nice over the tomahawk, which would have less. Glad we're finally getting used out of this guard here. It was not like proccing at all early game. Largo's such a silly guy. I'm sad he didn't make it back in FE10. He would have been cool. Alright, we're going to simply run over here. We're going to hit them with the short spear. And we're going to run all the way down here. Because Largo did his job properly, we can actually just have Tanith sit over here. And that will get the final priest that we couldn't reach. And then Ike's just going to come up here and finish these two units off. The reason we don't want Largo getting all 4 kills there or too many combats is if he does get any more combat at this point, he's going to gain a level. And he doesn't need that level. We don't need that level. We don't want to watch that level animation play out. And here is, oh wait, no, it's the Swordmaster that's going to come. Yeah, this is the only other Laguz Slayer that you can get in the game. And it is a chapter, a singular chapter too late. Thankfully, we got one all the way back in chapter 7. Right, done with that. Alright, so for the next one, there is a minute save that I could do. However, it requires using the gamble skill. And what that does, it will save us a whole entire turn. However, what gamble is it will lower our hit rate to 50. And in return, it will give us, oh my gosh, it will give us 30 more crit. You do not want to risk your run on that. I'm telling you right now, you do not want to risk your run on that. And so I will not be taking the minute time save, and instead I will be going for the old reliable. Guard has served us well. However, it is time to get rid of it as Marcia now needs to do the hard task of both carrying Ike while she needs to carry Ike while having access to her full stats and not the reduced stats that you usually get for carrying someone. And so we use the Savior skill, which means that you can carry people without having any penalty anymore. Alencia is going to take the rescue staff here, and I will explain why we're using Alencia for that in a little bit. But instead, we're going to do a little inventory management right here. Marcia's going to go ahead and list the Steel Lance to save some uses on the Brave and Silver Lance. Khalil is going to trade Bastion the Meteor Tome. And for something that we actually decided to do, like this is another 2022-2023 change, where we actually suicide Bastion now. We actually do kill Bastion off. However, it makes the next chapter strategy a lot more consistent than it used to be, and we do use Joffrey in the next chapter also, but it's a lot more consistent now. So that should be everything good. Oh, I almost forgot. We need the Laguz Guard from Lucia. as we're not too worried about bows anymore. However, there are going to be a lot of Lagoos that do a lot of damage, and we don't want to worry about that. So let's talk about the rescue staff and warp in general. So warp is a very useful thing in Fire Emblem in general. It allows you to move units without having them move. It's basically extra spaces. However, the warp staff is not in this game. We do have the rescue staff, though we get it super late in the game. But the bigger issue in warp and movement in general in this game is people that are able to use it, as there's not really any staff users in this game. Because how it works is there's two types of staff users. You can use a mage who is promoted and selected staffs instead of knives upon promotion. There's no reason to ever choose knives on a promotion. However, what they did to balance it out is every pre-promoted mage, which means you get the mage as a promoted unit already, has knives selected instead of staffs to balance them out, to kind of encourage you to use your own mage. And the other unit that you would get that would have staff access is priests. There is a single priest that you get throughout this entire game, and he is gotten within the second chapter. And the problem is both of these units, all your mages, that you don't want to promote them. That takes time, that takes XP that you don't have to spare. And the priest, you don't have the XP to spare either, so you're really stuck without a staff user. However, they give you one in the final end of the game. They give you a pre-promoted staff user in Alencia. The problem, first of all, Alencia, she's a flying staff unit. That's really good. She's very weak for getting obtained this late in the game. On top of that, she is a lose condition, which means if she dies at any point, game over, you lose. Booted to the title screen, you have to load your save data over again. So it is a very risky thing to put more lose conditions on the map than you need. However, in this case, she's really the only staff user we can use. So it's like, deploy Alencia or don't use warp/rescue, the only form of warping in this game. And so we do use Alencia, even though she is a lose condition, to secure a few extra spaces. It's a little lower HP than I would have liked, but so there is a chance of dying on this map. I probably should have safety saved. I honestly forgot there was a chance of dying here. So hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully Ike doesn't die on us. If he does, is what it is. So we can't actually one-round this boss, as unfortunate as it is. I mean, you can if you crit like that. If I knew she was going to crit, I could have 3-turned this. Now we have to survive this enemy phase, both Marcia and Ike. It's going to be close, but hopefully we do this. This should be the last bit of luck that's involved in the run. Just need Ike to dodge like his life depends on it. Alencia shouldn't be in any danger here. She should take this hit fine. And then no one else should be able to reach her. The real danger is more Ike Marcia. Yeah, knives are a useless weapon in this game. You should never pick knives on promotion. The only reason they have knives on promotion, we're pretty sure, is to nerf pre-promoted mages so that they can't use staffs. Come on, don't get hit, don't get hit, don't get hit. Thank you. Thank you. We're not suffering from success either. Oh, wait. Oh, if guard... Oh, wait, guard can't proc anymore. I forgot. We unequipped guard. Yeah, guard can't proc anymore. We just gotta rely on raw speed stat here. I think Ike's safe at this point. This should be the last unit. There we go. Alright. We can go ahead, capture this, and we're on to the next chapter. 3 more chapters left. Alright, real quick. We don't have to do anything here, correct? Yes. And we're going to be taking you. So this used to be done with just Marcia and a lot of luck. And then a few years later, they figured out that using Joffrey here is actually a really good idea. As it makes we need another unit to go and grab the resolve skill for Ike's endgame. And Joffrey has a good enough resistance stat with the Pure Water and Night Ward and a good defense stat, and that he was good for the job. However, it was very unreliable. There was a lot of animation specifically from this this mage that we're killing right here. And so we recently just finally made the connection of, hey, we're not using all our meteor uses. Let's instead sacrifice Bastion and just use our final meteor uses to kill the guy that is like threatening Joffrey's life 24/7. And in addition to this, because they are now focused on Bastion for the first part of this map, since he's dying anyway, Joffrey's already taking a lot less hits. And now Joffrey basically has 0 chance of dying, all because we're sacking Bastion and using our last few meteor uses. So this is going to be the first death. In an optimal run, this should be really your only death. However, I am going to... She might not die, but I am going to be basically attempting to sacrifice Tanith in order to make the final chapter, to give me a backup route out of the final chapter. Because if hit rates don't go your way, hit and crit rates don't go your way, it's a game over. Alright, we got our door key off of that enemy there, so we're now going to open this door. Bastions should be dead, but he didn't die. That's okay, he'll die this turn. Joffrey going to make his way over. Side note, this is the third and final chapter for bosses that have miracles. So let's hope that we go 3 for 3 for no miracles proccing. Joffrey using the Night Ward, an item that is exclusive to mounted units, I believe horses and armored units only, and it basically increases your defense and your growth rates. We're mostly using it for the defense boost though. Alright, we get the chest key. We don't really need the door key anymore. We are going to need that chest key, though, because the final skill that we're going to need for our Ike endgame build is here. And Joffrey's going to go ahead and grab that skill for us. We can barely use it. We have 15 uses. That is the minimum needed to be able to use the Brave Lance here. So we're going to be able to use the Brave Lance here, not really risk any Thoron hit on Joffrey. And he's going to move one ahead. Marsha's going to move up ahead here. She's going to take that Brave Lance back. And she's going to give the chest key so Joffrey can open that chest. She's going to go ahead and equip that Brave Lance. And we're going to run all the way over here. Ideally, Joffrey dodges this. Alright, Joffrey doesn't have to heal this whole chapter. We don't have to watch a healing animation. He has an Randolph's Elixir just in case. But no elixir needed, thankfully. Marsha's just going to literally kill everything else. And if she saves enough Brave Lance uses, she might be able to use the Brave Lance to speed up some animations for this chapter and the next one. This is the final chapter before we get Ragnar, which is Ike's signature weapon. And once Ike gets that weapon, he is just going to take off and become an unstoppable monster. That's +5 defense for equipping, 1 to 2 range weapon with insanely high might. He just becomes a monster. This was the Age of Fire Emblem. I think the GBA Binding Blade did this too, where they make your lord just broken in the end game, just to balance things out. Or like, yeah, you've been training him all this time. Here you go. He finally gets a break. So we're gonna equip the Silver Lance here for enemy phase. We're gonna hope that we don't proc Miracle at all. We're gonna run this way to get Resolve next turn. And Ike is just gonna be here to attract all the enemies away from Marsha, so she can focus on the boss. Unfortunately, getting hit twice. Alright. Marcia going to kill, please? No miracle. Let's go. We got no miracle procs. Best case scenario. Alright. Then Joffrey's going to go ahead and get resolve here. And now our Ike is basically ready for endgame. Black Knight fight. We're not doing this. We should just be good. Alright. This is a map with a lot of lagoos. And the idea is that Ike is going to get the Lagoos band off of Marcia in order to not have to deal with them as much. Take less damage, I mean, from them. So he's going to overall just take less damage from Lagoos now. We're going to equip the Lagoos band, equip the and re-equip. The reason we do that is when an item is consumed, in this case the pure water is what we're looking at. When the pure water is fully consumed, your top weapon gets equipped. No matter what, even if you have something else equipped, your top weapon gets equipped. And we're going to use our last use of the pure water on the final chapter, the next chapter. However, when the Ragnall is thrown into Ike's inventory, it is put on the bottom of his inventory equipped. However, it is not the top item in his inventory. Therefore, once he uses the pure water, unless it's put on the top of his inventory list, he would equip some random weapon instead. So Marcia gonna ferry Ike all the way over there. Joffrey's on Raisin babysitting duty. And we're just going to go ahead and drop Ike with his Ragnall equipped right there. He's all pure watered up, so he should be able to deal with the dragons fine, and the boss doesn't have any real chance on him. Alright, and we just survive this, and Marcia will kill the boss next turn. Ike will seize. Ooh, I've never seen this cat move before dragons. That's interesting. Maybe I have. I'm probably just tired. Alright, so I'm going to start talking about the combination that we use for Ike's set to kill Ashnard, because I don't think we're going to have too much time to talk about it there. So he's going to use a combination of the skills Wrath and Resolve. And what Wrath does, when you're below half HP, you gain, like, I believe it's just a static 50, or it's either 20, 30, or 50 crit. It's a lot of crit, basically, just for being under 50 HP. And what Resolve says is, when you're under 50 HP, you gain a 1.5 multiplier to your strength, speed, and I believe skill. I might be wrong on that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to let Ashnard hit us first, knock us below half HP, and then we're going to need to crit we're going to need at least one crit to kill Ashnard. Luckily, it's a really favorable chance for it to happen. However, if Ashnard doesn't hit us and knock us below half HP, or Ike doesn't crit, we're in a bit of trouble. Depending on which one happens, I'm going to be doing the backup safer strat. And I'm going to be safety saving, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. Depending on which one happens, some are more recoverable than others. But for the most part, you're going to be losing a lot of time if Ike just does not get that crit on the right turn. Here we go, final chapter. So we're going to go ahead, give Ike his final build of Resolve and Wrath. Does not matter what you pick here. And then I'm going to set up the safety strat, or we sacrifice Tanith in the name of having a backup in case Ike doesn't crit. We're going to Pure Water here. So we do need a Pure Water here. There is going to be a priest all the way next to Ashnard that is going to try and put someone to sleep. And he usually goes for Ike. However, we're going to just have him aim for Tanith, or aim for Marcia instead, since we don't really care what happens to Marcia anymore. It'd be nice if she survives. That's less frames we have to worry about. But ideally, the priest moves first, immediately followed by Ashnard. So in an ideal world, even if she does get put to sleep, nothing's going to happen. Tanith is going to die here. This is actually quick, the quickest route, so that's actually good. The real scary thing here is we are using, once again, Olencia. We're using Olencia to rescue. And I'm actually going to do it this way. And she is a lose condition, so if she dies at any point, bad news. Very bad news. So we're going to rescue Raisin on over. We're going to go straight down, I believe is safe. Hopefully it's safe. Either way, we're probably resetting if Ike misses, but then Raisin's just going to dance Marcia. I never remember what square is safe for Olencia to stand on. I mostly just don't do this. I'm just like, if I got this far, I might as well just finish it off. And we're going to end turn, and this is going to attempt to put Marcia to sleep. He's probably going to miss. He hit. It's whatever. It doesn't matter because this is hit right here. This decides everything. Alright. I'm resetting that. Unfortunate. And this is why we safety save here. Oops. I need to set the skills still. Can I, get a reset, please? Time loss, but this wasn't the best pace anyway. Is what it is. Manage skills. Ike takes Resolve and Wrath. Alright, I'm going to do the fast route this time because I'm probably going to be using my safety save anyway. It's like up here, I believe. Something like this. Marcia comes this way. It's this way and this way. I believe this is what we want. Oh, they do hit her. That's not good. I do not remember the ranges. I think I messed it up. Oh well. Can I win so you get to the right spot? That's all that matters. And the answer is yes. Okay. Then it doesn't matter in the end. As long as she can get here and rescue up Raisin, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so ideally Ike gets hit this time. Our Ike was too speedy and did not get hit by Ashnard, meaning that Wrath and Resolve could not activate, and if Wrath and Resolve don't activate, that is a dead run, unfortunately. There we go. Wrath Resolve activate now. And that's our crit. And that's Ashnard dead. Now we just mash start. And time should end on the save screen. And that's the run. A little jank at the end, but it was unfortunate luck. But yeah, all around, that wasn't... I've had worse runs. I've had better runs. But I hope this proved my proficiency in the run. And thank you everyone who came in and watched at all. I did not think I would actually get more than maybe one viewer at all. So thank you. And especially thank you, Kitsune, for sticking around for the entire 2 hours and basically 20 minutes that I took. I probably took around 2.5 hours to do this entire run. And I hope I can get into I hope I can get into the marathon. Not the fastest run ever, I understand if not, but yeah. I'm gonna stop the recording. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've ever recorded it or streamed it. And this is my first time actually completing a run on hardware. Most of the time I do it through Dolphin. So, feels good to get the first one off. Alright, yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. I'm kind of tired. There's no way anyone else still wants to watch any more Fire Emblem after this. I understand. Fire Emblem 9 is a game. It's not the slowest game ever, but it's definitely far from fast. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, I guess. Thank you for everyone who stopped in once again, and I hope I get a time slot. Bye.